Welcome to Small Biz Life, episode 68, Dream Bigger.
No, really. Bigger.
Yeah, even bigger than that.
Bigger.
Nope, not big enough.
Does this sound familiar?
Oh my God, I have so much to do today.
Don't forget to breathe.
But I have almost 400 emails in my inbox and 30 phone calls to make.
Have you looked into getting a virtual assistant yet?
Oh, and I need to schedule all my social media posts.
Did you drink anything today?
I had coffee.
Did you eat today?
Did I mention coffee's a bean?
This is Small Biz Life.
Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Small Biz Life. And this is really an exciting episode. We're stoked.
Yes, this is something that has us both very, very excited.
Right. So first, we want to wish you a very happy new year.
Yes.
And
welcome to 2017.
Woohoo. Super excited about that. So if you're a returning listener, thank you so much for being with us again this week as we celebrate a new year. And if you're a new listener, welcome.
Yeah. And either way, if you've not taken the chance yet to go ahead and subscribe, hit that button now. Whether you're on your phone or if you listen to us from iTunes, go ahead and subscribe. That way the episodes just get downloaded to you as they come out.
Yes, and we'd like to welcome everyone that's listening on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. No, we're seeing some pretty good numbers from iHeartRadio start to come in. So thank you very much, iHeartRadio listeners.
So my name's Kristen Ingram.
And I'm Jeffrey W. Ingram.
And we are a husband and wife team of small business owners who are walking with you through this journey that we call the Small Biz Life.
Yes. And it can be tough. You know, it's really easy to get motivated and pumped up for your business. There's a lot of great content, but there's not too many people down there in the weeds with you, helping you get through the stuff you don't like but need to do, or just to get better at some of that stuff. So we really like to get into the muck with you.
Except today, we are completely muck-free.
This will be a muck-free episode of Small Biz Life. I feel radio Jeff today. I don't know why.
So today we are going to talk about dreaming bigger. And the reason that we wanted to talk about this today is because I think a lot of people, they are setting goals and they are not dreaming big enough in order to stay excited about those action plans they're putting together.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time around this time of the year. If you're ahead of schedule, you've already completed them, or if you're behind schedule, you're just getting ready to start them now. But you're sitting there and you're putting in all of these checklists of things to get together, and a lot of them are really good. You're getting your action items set up for the year. You've come up with your yearly SMART goals, and you feel prepped, but you're a little let down because last year you seem to fall a bit short and you're not sure why.
Right. So, we still like the idea of SMART goals, and we talked about those last year at this time. But I think the flaw with that is that we are thinking too short term.
Yeah.
And, there's some people out there like, what do you want your life to be like in 3 years or 5 years?
Or 20 years.
Or 20 years. And the thing we want you to do is we want you to think big.
We want you to think to a point of, if you've actually done all of these things that you want to do in your life, you really have nothing else to do. Nothing.
Right. So when you're going through this process, and if you go to smallbizlife.com/dream big, one word, dream big, you can download our brand new Dream Catcher assessment. This is a free assessment that we're giving away to all of our listeners. And the challenge is this will help you dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before.
Yes. And when you go there, you'll be asked to opt into our email newsletter. You should do that. It's another way to get notifications when we have stuff coming out and for us to help keep you moving along in the small biz journey. But also, you won't have to wait for an email to come to your inbox, because as soon as you sign up, you'll be taken to a page that will have a video It's probably about 20 minutes, and it's just Chris and I going through this in a lot of detail. And then there will also be right there for you to download a copy of that assessment.
Right. So I think this is outside the scope for a lot of our listeners, because a lot of our listeners are thinking in terms of, what do I want to get accomplished this year? Mm-hmm. And so what we're trying to get you to do with this assessment is we are trying to get you to dream of your ultimate self.
Yeah.
And so in order to do that, we want you to look at 6 key areas of your life, because we think that when you're dreaming big, it's really important to make sure that it is a well-rounded dream.
Yeah.
So that is really important. And we found in our own lives that the bigger we dreamed, the more we accomplished. I remember when I first started thinking about going into teaching, and everybody told me, no, you can't do that. You can't teach. You don't have a PhD. And I said, you know what? No, this is something I really want to do. I want to have a full-time permanent teaching gig because it helps me with other things that I'm doing. I think it's made me a much better speaker. It makes me a better podcaster. It makes accounting and focus so much better. And so that was one of the things. And people told me, nope, that's impossible. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. You have to go back, get a PhD.
Well, now I run a master's in accounting program and I teach full time. So, I think that a lot of people have helped us put limits on ourselves. And, I want you to kind of think back to those days, when you were a little kid and you dreamed really big. Maybe you wanted to be an astronaut or the president or, a gymnast at the Olympics, and you didn't have any limitations on yourself. And somewhere along the way, whether maybe it was like in school, you had a teacher that said, no, you can't do that, or you hit some other roadblock where you started putting limitations on yourself. Mm-hmm. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get you to remove those limitations again.
Yes. And now we're asking you to dream. This isn't an assessment you take and then all of a sudden, you quit your job tomorrow so you can follow your dream. Think of it like a mission statement for your life. This path that you're always moving towards. There's always an end game for you in this scenario. So you get to keep moving towards your end goal. You can run all of those SMART goals to make sure that they line up with what you're trying to do to achieve the dream version of yourself.
Well, and I think, I can give you an example from our own lives where this worked really well for us. Many of you, if you've listened to us for a while, you know that we had over $200,000 of consumer debt that we ended up paying off. But we really didn't start building a ton of momentum until we started dreaming past that. Mm-hmm. So we started thinking about, the trips that we would take, the lifestyle we would have once that debt was gone. One of the things that I always thought about, Jeff is a big ancient history buff. He's really into ancient cultures. And one of the things that I wanted to be able to do is take a trip to Mayan ruins. And think about, so when we were that far in debt, like that was just something that it seemed impossible, that there's something that we would never be able to do.
Or go see Pompeii.
Yes, or go see Pompeii.
In Pompeii.
Yes. Because we'd seen a lot of documentaries on Pompeii. And it was so motivating and so inspiring that we paid off about $140,000 worth of debt in about 18 months. Because dreaming bigger and beyond that was incredibly motivating for us. And we did go to Pompeii. And this year we went to Mexico and went to the Mayan ruins.
Yeah.
So, and we talk about like some outrageous kind of stuff on this show sometimes, the 18 houses that Jeff wants to have. But when you get into that mindset that you're dreaming so big, it's inspiring.
Yeah, and really, we've spent like the last week formulating this and sort of refining it down to make it in a way to get people to dream so big that if you ever got there, like I said, there's just nothing else. There would be nothing else to do in this world.
Right. And I went through this exercise with one of my masterminds, and seeing them go through this process and dreaming big.
Yeah.
I've never seen them so excited. They're putting together their action plans. They've done the work in the assessment, and they're pushing forward.
And really, this is one of those things where I kind of thought we should just charge for this up front, because the value in having an emotional attachment to the things that you're doing in your life is incredible. But, I think the biggest thing, and I kind of got this from Kristen, was really the payment here is seeing the aha moment in people.
Yeah. And it is incredible when you see that.
Yeah.
Because we get so focused on these little goals so that we can check them off on our list that we're not thinking big picture. We're not thinking ultimate dreams.
We're not tying it to our emotions, to who we really want to be.
Right. And that's what this assessment is really all about is, when you're sitting there, on your deathbed, hopefully a long time from now, that you sit there and go, wow, look at all the things that I've accomplished. I strove every day to be the ultimate me. Whether it was in my business, my finances, my relationships with other people, my health, my spiritual and emotional life, or just, my lifestyle and my hobbies.
Yeah. And, for me, the thing I like to joke about is if I get to a quarter of my dream vision, I will have had such an awesome life that I wouldn't know what to do with that. That might be my 20-year vision of myself, but I just can't even imagine a quarter of this. But it's so exciting that when I can sit there and I can go, editing this episode is me getting a step closer to that. And how much easier it is to pick up and do that work, the mundane work that you have to do to get to that dream vision of yourself. But this adds that excitement and that childlike enthusiasm towards your life and dealing with all of the things that you have to get done just to get through the day.
And the assessment it will help you take that big dream and break it down into action steps that you can work on right now. So we're not just asking you like, okay, dream big, throw it up on the wall, and somehow magically we're going to make it happen. We do actually walk you through those steps for how to develop the action plan to start moving towards it.
And if you are ahead of schedule and you get done, when you get those action items, that's the time to relook at your goals. Don't relook at them now. Go through the assessment step by step till you get down to those action items. Then go back to all of your SMART goals and say, how does this work into where I want to be? And if you've not started yet, it's easier because you just do the dream catcher assessment, and then you start going through and doing all of the other work that you should have done, but you probably didn't want to, which is why you haven't started yet.
Right. And I think, you know that you're going through this process correctly when you start to look at the vision that you've created for your life, and it's really exciting and it's scary.
Mm-hmm. Or if you have that supportive friend, the friend who always sits there and goes, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. And they go, I love you. I hope you can do it. Then you've done it correctly.
Mm-hmm. And, the one thing that I really like about this process is that it gives you, that huge vision, but we're also giving you the tangible steps to develop the action plan. And I think that's the part that's really cool about it.
Well, it's funny because like one of the things I've always done is I've used gamification on a lot of my mundane tasks because they bore me. And I like doing certain types of things, but other things I have to do for it all to make sense. And the thing is, I find now that I have the emotional attachment with all of the things that I'm doing, where even if it's a mundane task that isn't directly related to my dream vision, I know that part of the purpose of me doing it now is to be able to outsource it at some point in the near future. Or if it's a mundane task that I need to accomplish to get to the dream vision of myself, I have that emotion, that enthusiasm. And enthusiasm really is an infectious thing when you work.
Yeah, emotional connection is really the key. And one of the things we have you do during the assessment is to, keep going back to, how does this make you feel? How would you feel if, you were able to accomplish this? Because when you think of your dream vision and you think about how it makes you feel, and you bring up these, that you're excited about it, that, if you improve your financial life, that, there'll be less weight on your shoulders. You'll be able to enjoy your life more. Maybe in your lifestyle, you want to, laugh more and be happier and build stronger relationships. Having that tied back to the feelings will help keep you motivated. I think part of the problem with starting with realistic is that when we get down to the actual action steps, they feel like drudgery.
Yeah.
Whereas with this assessment, all of the action items that you are going to develop are going to tie back to that big, exciting dream.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about that dream and the emotion that comes with it, it is so much easier to get through those action items.
Many of you have done similar things, like you've created your why, or either maybe a mission statement from listening to other people. Those are great, but are they bigger than you?
Right.
Because the problem is, when you create a why that's strictly about you, part of you is probably going to feel, I guess, a bit guilty at times that your whole life is about you. And that's one of the reasons why we break it up in the categories. We have the categories we do to make sure that you're well-rounded as an individual, but that it's bigger than you. It needs to be bigger than you.
Right. So one of the big financial things that I came up with is I want to give so much money to charity that they name a building after me. Okay. After us.
Yes.
And to think about that, you're like, okay, that is tens of millions of dollars
Mm-hmm.
to get a building named after you. But you know what? If that motivates me to give more over time to the charities that we're passionate about, then even if I don't get the building, we would have given away a tremendous amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, when we were going through our journey to become debt-free, when we did Financial Peace University, and the last week was all about giving, crazy, audacious giving.
Mm.
And I'm like, that's why we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing that really motivated me. Part of the reason I started Accounting in Focus is because I knew that there are students all over the world who, don't have access to, accounting professors that they're trying to teach themselves, on their own, or, they don't have the money to go to school, but they're trying to develop the skills. And that really motivated me to go out and do that. Now, I never thought, I'm like, this would be really cool if I could help some people. So since I wrote the site almost, let's see, it's been about 2.5 years since the site went live.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught over 1 million people online.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I get comments and notes from students all the time that thank me for putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, part of, I'm hoping that when you develop your dream, that there are aspects of your dream that are bigger than you,
Mm-hmm.
that are charitable, that are, almost mission based, that will help, round out, that's why spiritual and emotional was really important
Mm-hmm.
to put in here, because I think that there has to be a component that is bigger than you.
Yeah. And I know for me, the way I like to think about that method is not everyone's religious. So you don't have spiritual reasons in the classic sense to why you do things. But really, it's what makes you the best possible human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and part of that to me is giving. I'm a crazy libertarian politically, and I believe in free markets, and I believe the government should be minimally involved in people's lives. But I don't think that doesn't take away my need to help people. You know, for me, charity is actually something I voluntarily do because I want to make the lives of people better. I know for me, one of my big ones was, and this is really crazy, I have no idea how to do it, but we were looking at all these things, and she likes to joke about all the homes I want. One of them was in Belize. I love Belize. And I want to, and I'll definitely probably spend more time in Belize, but when I looked, I was like, could I live there? I was like, almost yes, but then we do internet stuff. And how can I do internet stuff from a place that doesn't have consistent, good, high-speed internet? And, you know, wouldn't it be better for everyone in Belize if they could start their own online businesses? So one of my dreams would be to bring high-speed internet to a price point in Belize where people could afford to start their own internet business there if they wanted to.
That's pretty awesome.
I have no idea how to do this, but it's one of those things where as I'm taking steps forward, that will always be in my mind. So maybe even if I reach a financial goal of my own where I'm comfortable, that's not good enough anymore. Because if I could get just a little bit more, maybe I could work with some telecom company and help bring this internet to Belize.
Right.
Why Belize? I don't know. I just like the people there. I don't know.
Belize was a really cool place to visit.
Belize was really cool. The people there were awesome.
Yeah. We went to Belize this year as well.
That's where we saw Mayan ruins.
Yep. One of the places.
One of the places, yeah.
And the people in Belize were they were awesome. Like, they're so welcoming and so friendly, and they want you to be there. It was an incredible experience to go there. You know, it was a magical place.
Well, I know it's funny too, because like one of the first things we saw was a statue of this guy who actually created a big endowment to Belize. He was a British person, I think from the late 1800s or something like that. I'm not exactly sure when, but he left them a lot of money, and it gets distributed to all of the native Belize people every year, which is kind of cool. So they built a statue for the guy because, hey, they really like it. And so it'd be cool if I could just get a backlink.
But, I think one of the things that's inspiring about Belize is that, when we were leaving, the town to go to the ruins, there was this sign that said, make our home a place you can Belize in.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and that's the entire atmosphere of their culture, is to try to improve themselves, improve their country, make it a place that people want to come and want to live.
Yeah.
And so I guess with the whole dream vision, I think that's why we really liked it, right? Because they're always dreaming bigger and what can we do better. And so I thought that was really cool.
I believe in them too.
Yes. So, I think for some of you, this is going to be a really big challenge. I want you to do it anyway. And I want you, go through, get the assessment, go to smallbizlife.com/dreambig. The link will also be in the show notes. But go through this assessment, and if you do part 1 and you're not excited and you're not afraid, you need to dream bigger.
Yes.
Okay. Keep dreaming bigger until you go, no, that's about, and it's going to make you a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
And you're going to say, there's no way that I could ever do this. When you get to that point, you're probably there.
Yes.
But the nice thing with the assessment is that we're going to ask you a lot of things like this that I've kind of, looked at before. They ask you to look at where you can improve, but they don't ask you to go through the strengths that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a key part of this assessment, because looking at your strengths, you're going to find that you're going to go, you know what? I am kind of doing some things that are going to get me down this journey. And it may not be conscious in your mind that you're working towards this dream, but you've developed strengths, you've developed skills that are moving you along that path. And this assessment is really to help give you clarity and to help drive you further towards that vision that you may subconsciously have in your mind. A lot of us, we have that child in the back of our minds going, hey, you can still be an astronaut. Hey, hi, I'm here.
Yeah, I have a lot of that.
You do? Yes. Yes, living with Jeff, yes, you get that every day. So, when you do this, don't limit yourself. Don't look at what you can't do. We're very specific in here that when you're doing the dream vision, when you're dreaming big, don't use negative words. Don't say, I won't do this anymore. I can't do this. Everything should be positive.
Yeah.
Because we are much more inspired by positivity than we are negativity.
Yeah. And I think that's huge. And to be honest, I'm actually kind of glad that we came to the decision not to sell this, because one of my dreams is, to be honest, the reason I get sad this time of year sometimes is because I see people sharing out their New Year's resolutions or their dreams in their life, because it's the new year, it's what you do. And it makes me a little sad because they look like check boxes on my to-do list. And I'm so excited for a day where I can go to social media and I can see people talking about what their dreams are, where they want to be as a person. And I'm like, that is awesome. I have no idea what they're talking about, maybe because the words are too big, or I don't know enough about that industry to know what that is, but it sounds awesome because it's huge. It's bigger than them. And really, if you get done and you can see a checklist, you haven't done it well.
Right. And that's, think about your legacy. Think about the impact that you can have in this world when you're gone. If you think about all of the content that we have on YouTube, even after we're gone and the websites might be down because nobody's paying for them, that content will still be on YouTube. Yeah. It'll be out there. All the podcast episodes we've ever done, all of my accounting videos, that's there forever. Mm-hmm. And I've got people that are watching videos that I put out, almost 5 years ago now, and they're still watching those videos and engaging with them and thanking us for them. And that's a legacy. I can continue to teach students accounting even after I'm gone.
I mean, that's the amazing thing with the age we live in. There are flaws in it, of course, like any age. But the thing is, we can really make an impact, make ourselves almost immortal in certain ways that couldn't be done before, unless you could get a book published, or you had your own newspaper, or you created a company that spanned the ages. But today you can do that.
Right. And those barriers to entry are gone.
Yeah.
You don't need a television station to pick up what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You can put it on YouTube. You can put a podcast out there. You can write a book and put it on Amazon. You don't need a publishing company or a media company or anybody else to say that they think it's good enough. Mm-hmm. Because if you think it's good enough, you can put it out there.
And it's a true democracy. People will get to choose, if they find it, whether or not they want to consume it.
Right. And the thing that I want to leave you with, it doesn't matter what your business is, you can have an impact. If you are teaching people how to improve their computer skills, think of the people that you're helping. Maybe you're helping people gain the skills they need to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Or by teaching them a particular craft, you're allowing them to find stress relief.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've mentioned on here before, I'm a knitter. When I get really stressed out, if I knit something, that is like instant stress relief. And so you are helping people improve their health, right? By finding a positive outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, drinking or doing drugs or doing something self-destructive, they are finding a healthy way to relieve their stress. And you are teaching them how to do that. So I want you to know that no matter what your business is, it is important. It is helping people to live their lives better. And if you take that approach every single day, your business will get to where you want it to go. And if you dream really, really big, you may not get to that big pie in the sky, but let's say you get halfway there. Say your goal is to build a $10 million brand and you build a $2 million a year brand. It's probably a lot better than what you would have, planned for before. And so that's why dreaming big is the way to go.
Now, you might feel a little scared right now. Or if you're like me, you feel excited. So
I'm usually the one that feels scared, and he's usually the one that feels excited.
Those are probably hopefully one of the two emotions you're feeling right now. Take this opportunity, go to smallbizlife.com/dreambig. Start the assessment. There'll be comments right below the video and the download for you to be able to ask questions and give feedback. But we look forward to engaging with you and helping you dream bigger.
And we've got a lot of big things planned for 2017 because we've also done this assessment. And
there'll be big news in the next podcast episode.
Yes. So make sure that you download the next episode when it comes out, because there is a big, huge announcement in there. And we can't wait to share it with you. So I hope that you have an awesome week, and I hope you dream big.
This was Small Biz Life.